There's been some wild accusations being thrown around. I've been getting called a Yankee loving bitch this past week, but it's only because I stand on the right side of the fence. It's only because I stand on the right side of justice. Aaron Judge was accused of cheating by the Toronto Blue Jays broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they walked it back. Did they walk it back? I think they doubled down on it. I think the next day they were like, yeah, they should fucking drill this guy, which is, I mean, I guess.
Well, they're not. They weren't far off. They're not cheating. He's not cheating. So to say that he was cheating.
No, he's not cheating. Is he doing something that's frowned upon? Yes.
Well, hold on. Time out. Frowned upon by who?
The opposition.
No.
Yeah, they were frowning.
Time out.
But they were frowning.
You can frown if you want to, but they are still in the mind space where they know that this is not wrong and they know that this is not illegal. So at the end of the day, you can frown, you can be butthurt all you want, but you're still part of a group that I would then classify as moronic, or that is choosing to not understand how things have gone on the baseball field since we've been playing things on baseball fields. This is how things go. Yeah, so fucking
here's the call. Here's the call.
A long hold here by Jackson. And it's 2-2. All right, Buck. So you and I looked at each other at the same moment right when we saw this 3 pitches ago.
Watch what he's looking at.
Yeah. What is that?
Where's he looking?
Where is he looking? And he did it more than once.
Yeah, it's really, really unusual. But you and I both looked at each other when we saw that.
Like, did you see what I saw?
Yeah.
And you don't want to go, throwing allegations around without knowing, but
no. And you know what? I have had guys look back when I was catching, and you obviously could see it, and he couldn't see the catcher with the way he was looking right there.
Yeah, just did it again. And he pummeled it.
And he pummeled it.
A country mile for his second home run of the night.
And he pummeled it. I don't know if they continue, but that's enough to get the point of their suspicions on the broadcast. And then we were just asking, like, did they walk it back after the conversation had kind of subsided about whether or not that this was cheating or is this gamesmanship? I don't know who this was, but this was on the Blue Jays pregame. Aaron Judge is in the cage bunting. And this is what's being said.
I'm trying to send a message. And there was a time earlier in my career when, yes, messages were sent to me too, right at my head when it wasn't good. I would like to see Kevin Gausman come out and send a message. The problem is the umpire.
So now they're advocating for Aaron Judge to get smoked in the head over this. So here's what I know. And I think some of this is now out there, I think. I was told. Well, first, we can go back to the original Blue Jays broadcast. My theory, I don't know this. This is my theory because I see it at Fenway where broadcasters will come down, they'll talk to players, they'll talk to executives, they'll get on the ground level to get the story. And then in Dallas, I'm sure you can attest to this, present it in a way where they're hypothesizing, but they know. Like, they don't want to say it, but they're telling you they're asking a question, but they're telling you. I think this is my theory again, just based on what I see. My theory is that the Jays broadcasters probably knew that the Yankees were doing this, were looking for it because they heard about it, saw it, and then kind of just put it out there as a question like, oh, what's he doing down there? I don't know. But I was later told that I guess they had video of several other Yankees with wandering eyes and that the Jays were also tipped off by other teams that had seen them doing this. Mm-hmm. And by doing this, what do I mean? And, if you're listening, you probably already understand by now. But for those who don't, this is not a Houston Astros thing. This is not an electronic stealing signs thing.
This is all about physical setup on the baseball field.
That's what this is. If you look at Alejandro Kirk, he's got the one leg down, so you could see the signs, but now I mean, we can confirm that they were using PitchCom and using dummy signs.
But you don't need to have the signs, because if he's setting up differently for a slider in the dirt, then he's going to have a different setup. You can tell just by the way he's set up. You don't even have to have signs.
Sure. But so what was happening, and this is why last night's game was also interesting, because if you're looking for a brawl or someone getting thrown at, you did not get that. But what you did get, there were some fuck you gestures going on, and we're not talking about the Domingo Germán stuff. So what was essentially happening was you had the Yankees first and third base coaches way outside their boxes. Like, they have boxes for a reason. That's where they're supposed to be. Some of them go outside a little bit because you don't want to get smoked with 115 off the bat. So you'll get an umpire that's not going to say, hey, you have to stay directly in the box. You can venture outside a little bit. But the Yankees first and third base coaches were venturing very much way outside. So they were being able to see pitch location, and then that's being relayed to the hitters at the plate. That's what they were looking at, which is not illegal. Like, that is just gamesmanship. But you got caught. Like, you can't get caught. So I mean, to I guess go into
Hold
this.
on. Why can't you get caught?
Well, because now, I mean, you will get teams that are going to throw at you.
Well, so fucking throw at me, dick. Now I'm on
That's
first
what I'm
base.
saying.
But I am so
Thank
over
you.
this shit. I am so over entertaining the back and forth. Oh, do you understand that is what has been happening since the first fucking day we played baseball? If I can figure out what you're doing because you're too fucking stupid to figure out that that's what you're doing, that's your fucking fault. You're the fucking idiot. Make the fucking adjustment. If not, fuck you. And if you're bitter about it, get better with it. And if you don't get better, you're going to go fucking home. You just stop. Stop. Nobody is wrong for it. This is how the fucking game is played. This is how you gain the advantage, which is why people started losing their shit when technology got introduced, because base coaching is just that. Coaching from the base that you are located at. So what is the first baseman or the first base's coach's job? When there's runners on, we're talking about defensive alignment. We're talking about where the players are. We're talking about pitch count. We're talking about timing, tips that the pitcher could be giving. If you're going to be going to second base anytime soon, we might be talking about that. It's also his job, as he did, to be able to create an angle if he can, to figure out what's going on the mound with the pitch grips. As a right-hander, as you saw the Blue Jays pitcher admit, as he comes set, based on your positioning as a first base coach, you'll be able to see pitch grip. And if you can do that, and you're positioned in a place where your hitter can see you, and you have already got physical movements designated for certain either pitches or locations, now we're cooking. You're doing your job. Why? Because the catcher back there has either got his legs spread out too far or he's giving something up early with his early setup. He's giving away all of the information. Would you have the competitor turn their fucking head and close their eyes and not take advantage of something like that? Is that what you're asking to have happen at the highest, most elite level of competition?
I think it's just laziness. Yeah, I think the word is lazy. Like, I think if you're going to complain about, I mean, and again, I think we're arguing against something that didn't actually happen. Like, we're talking about the broadcaster suggesting that the Yankees get thrown at. The Jays didn't do that. I think what they did do, if you watched the game last night, and Booney obviously got upset about it, they were doing it back. Like, they were saying, like, fuck you, by having their base coaches go way outside the boxes as a way to be like, all right, fine, fuck you. Like, we're going to do it too. And then Booney was complaining to the home plate umpire who made the adjustment. But I mean, the Jays were just trying to be like, look, this is what the fuck you guys were doing. Like, we're just going to do it too then, if you're going to make a big stink about it.
And something to understand about base coaching in the setup, right? There's so many different ways that your presence on the field can make an impact. So when I coach third base, like high school, lower level, Legion, whatever the fuck, right? Do you know what I explain to our base runners at second base? Hey, I want you to pick me up, and as far down the line as I get, that'll give you an idea where the second baseman is, where he's jockeying. So if you see me start to work my way back to third base, he's starting to pinch and jockey you back to second base. When you start to see me extend, you know that the guy that you can't see allows you to extend. Same thing at first base. Where am I at? Well, the shortstop. That's where you can look. Your runner at second base picks up his first base coach, he gets an idea where the shortstop is. He looks at his third base coach, he gets an idea where the second baseman is. All that's happening because of where, hang with me now, the base coaches are positioned, and they're not always inside those boxes. So where do we find ourselves? Once again, in a place where baseball is not effectively enforcing rules. So do the Jays have a point here? They do ultimately, right? There's a box on the field to keep our guys in it. You got to keep them in it. If they're not in it, shit like this can happen. If I'm not in my first base box and I choose to back up behind first base, like down the line, that gives me a great look into the mitt of a right-handed pitcher coming set. That gives me a beautiful look. Same can be said for the third base coach with a left-handed pitcher. So if you keep these guys in the box and they're not able to create these egregious angles and egregious sight lines, are they then able to communicate these things? Well, now we don't know the answer to that, but a good starting place would be to enforce the rules that the Jays have taken issue with not being enforced, right? But of course, people that ask those things to happen just become little bitches and are complaining and can't just play the game. And it's like, well, hold on. If we want to cause a stink about all this, let's get to the root of it. Where does it start? It's funny that I think it starts at the lack of enforcement once again.
Yeah. Jay, hey, what was your take on the whole thing?
I mean, close to a nothing burger. Like I trend closer to what Dallas is saying about just having more or less no time for this. Maybe it'll get more people nationally to hear what Buck Martinez sounds like. I guess that's the only kind of silver lining. I'm over it already, almost before it started.
Yeah. Joseph?
I think that was a great tidbit that you found there, Jared. Because I was wondering whether or not if the broadcast didn't say it on the air, if the Blue Jays would have even noticed it. Which, yeah, I guess they probably noticed it before the broadcast, and that's why it happened. That makes a lot more sense because I see that happen. Like I wouldn't say frequently, but I do see batters like looking in weird places. Watching on TV.
Wasn't there an old video of Josh Donaldson?
I didn't see it.
Know. Wasn't that the beef that Yelich got into with Darvish?
Mm-hmm.
It was
I forgot what team I was watching, but recently I saw someone doing that. It could have been the Yankees, and I was thinking that same shit. What the fuck is he looking at?
Yeah, that was the one thing that I haven't seen out there was like when they were talking about like whether or not is he peeking for location? Are they stealing signs? And then everyone was like, how can you steal signs? They were using PitchCom. Well, Kirk was throwing down signs, but they were also using PitchCom. So the signs were dummy signs to throw them off.
Yeah, and the pitcher came out already. The pitcher came out and said that he was tipping because of where his hand was.
6 straight sliders.
It's all about like how you're coming set, when you're coming set, the speed of which you're coming set, and again, the location. Like if you guys are first base coaches and I'm a right-handed pitcher and I'm in the stretch, and for the folks listening who can't see this, go to the fucking YouTube channel one time. You can see my hands. Watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Change up.
And if I come set and I got my eyes open or my glove open because I'm trying to keep my glove close to the body or whatever, now I'm giving you a fucking perfect line of sight. Watch this. It's just all it's all right there. It's all right there. And as baseball people, you are taught this at a very, very young age that these are things to look for. Right? This is like if you're playing football. Like we're taught this at a very early age. If you're a linebacker and you're playing at the lower levels, you look at the quarterback's feet. Does he set up one way or the other? Because he's going to tell you which way he's going to open up to hand the ball off. You're looking at the running back's eyes. Does he continue to look to one side or the other? Because he's probably looking at where he's going, which is where the ball's going, which is where you should be going. So you pass these things along because they're nuance to the game, right? So would you have a NFL fan going, I can't stand for this. I don't want to watch fucking Patrick Willis get a great first step and knock somebody's fucking head off. That's not fair. He should not know what's coming. That's bullshit. No, you don't hear that. You don't hear that.
No.
So stop it.
It made me respect Aaron Judge that much more because the Peking game was part of a 2 home run game. The second homer was like 450 something. And then you have all this attention on you. You just signed this big money contract. You're the captain of the Yankees. And for the most part, you're trying to be Derek Jeter reincarnated, who Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Professional, Mr. Classy. And now you've got these cheating allegations, and which are dumb and unfounded. But you go up there the very next night with all that attention on you. And what do? Hit another one, fucking 450. And as he was crossing home plate, he covered his eyes. So like he'll do shit like that. Like Aaron Judge, for the most part, is like he's not going to bat flip. He's not going to stand there and stare at his home runs. But there have been times where he had like a slight gesture a couple of years ago to Jose Altuve with like the jersey thing. Like he hit a home run in Houston and he was like rounding third base. And then he did like the don't like rip my jersey, like mocking Altuve. And then I didn't see it. I saw it this morning. I didn't notice it last night when he hit the home run. But as he was crossing home plate, he covered his eyes.
Well, he showed that he's that dude, right? Like, oh, why am I here in San Francisco? It's San Francisco. Just seeing a friend. Like he's got that in him. He's drawn a line between, breaking that third wall almost between him acknowledging that he'll do that stuff and then just doing it. He'll just do it. You'll see it, and we'll talk about it like we are right now, but he'll never acknowledge that it happened. Like, hey, Aaron, did you remember when he's like, oh, no, that was just there's a glare from the light.
No, I had something in my eye. It was fucking, it was
right. And he'll say that to you with a huge fucking shit-eating grin on his face. Like, yep.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody's head to get thrown at for sure. I think that's garbage shit, but I wouldn't mind if the overall chippiness factor increased between these two teams for the remainder of this series or moving forward, because it going back to what we were talking about with the Padres-Dodgers rivalry or whatever, and just rivalries in general, and Mookie being asked about Yankees, Red Sox versus, etc. We could use some chippiness in some of these rivalries, or develop a rivalry if that's what it takes. But
who was the dude that said that about throw? Because I don't think he was asking to throw it.
No, that's fine. I'm not trying to make too much of that. I'm just saying, generally speaking.
Yeah, he talked about getting thrown at, and he talked about even my head was thrown at.
No. He advocated
play it again. Play it again.
I'm trying to send a message, and there was a time earlier in my career when, yes, messages were sent to me too, right at my head when it wasn't good. I would like to see Kevin Gausman come out and send a message. The problem is the umpire.
Yeah, so like right at my head when it wasn't good. Period. I would like to see them send a message, is kind of how I hear that. I don't hear that. I'd like to see them throw at his head. Like I got my head thrown at. I'd like to see them throw at his head.
It's not hard to interpret. Hey, when I was playing, sending a message was throwing at someone's head. I'd like to see them send a message tonight. Like that's what he said. He's telling you what send a message means to him, and then saying that they should send a message
when it was bad. And he said when it was bad too, like when it was bad. So what does that mean?
Yeah.
When your personal offense was bad enough, they decided, fuck it, we're throwing at your head, not at your rib cage. Like, what was what? That's why I just didn't. I didn't hear right away.
The punishment doesn't fit the crime. Like it's not. I know, and this, to your question earlier, Dallas, like who's mad about this? Like the opposition. Is it cheating? No. Like are you like the Blue Jays and
you're mad luckily, you got. That's it. You're mad you got.
Seeing that accountability now. Like if they're admitting like, hey, I was tipping my pitches, then you're starting to see some accountability versus well, what the fuck, man? Like it's like, dude, the laziness. I'm gonna go back to that word, the laziness to not even try to deke the hitter or the base coaches about where the location is gonna be. Kirk is just fucking right there. Right here. Come on. He's set up outside.
But there's if it's pitch grip that he's getting, that's the next layer to this. That's the next level to this.
Yes. But it's both. He got both. He was getting fucking location from the first base coach, and he's getting the pitch from the pitcher who's tipping the pitch.
Well, I'll tell you right now, you can ask any hitter, and if they have a choice between knowing what pitch is coming or just the general location, what do you think they're going to pick?
Honestly, that's a good question. I feel like maybe that's more obvious for an actual big leaguer, but from my perspective, would I want the location or the pitch? I'd probably want the location.
Yeah.
I'd like to know where I'm looking here.
You're not a big league guy. It's pitch. It's obviously pitch.
You want 100 miles an hour, or do you want 86 with 22 inches of horizontal movement?
Well, I mean, to know for sure, like if you're...
Well, that's what
like,
I'm saying. Like, I'm
way.
going to tell you right now, Jared, you can have a choice. You can know where or roughly about where this pitch might end up, or I can tell you exactly what pitch you're getting. So you can sell out to that pitch. And if you know that pitch, you've got a pretty good idea of where the location's going to be too.
Yeah,
right?
any big league hitter that knows a fastball is coming is going to want to know the fastball. But like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you crush anything inside, then I don't want to be leaning out if the pitch is in.
Well, no, I mean, you'd like to have it, but again, you don't know what pitch it is. You just know that it's going to be there. So you're geared up for 96 in. Great. Now it's a changeup and it's down and you've swung over top of it because you were geared up for that heater in. You just didn't know it was going to be a changeup.
Yeah. I wonder what the poll results would be if you polled like
big
every
league
big
hitters.
league hitter. Yeah, like,
because I'm telling you right now, like, I don't give a fuck where it's at. If you're telling me what's coming, I like my chances. And that's coming from a guy who hit until I got to professional baseball. It's coming from just a D1 hitter, not a pro hitter, not a minor league hitter, I college hitter. That's it.
But to Jay Hayes' point, it's a nothing story. It is a story because it's Aaron Judge. Like, let's face it. If this were someone else that got caught doing it, like if this is Harrison Bader, no one gives a fuck. It's because it's our boy Judgy.
Well, it is interesting because, people were saying with the pitch comment shit, and Scherzer said it, other guys, like, you're getting rid of the gamesmanship, getting rid of the cool, like, sign stealing stuff. Like, it's kind of good to see that it still goes on. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting.